What's going on, everybody? I'm back in the basement. This might be a long video because I want to talk about my vacation and what was in my camera bags with an S, what lenses I had, what cameras I had, and how I shot this vacation in Curacao. So my daughter was on spring break last week, so we decided take a trip to Curacao. So took my family out there and we had a great time. Lots to see in the Dutch Caribbean island, one of the ABC islands in the Dutch Caribbean. So this would be C in that Curacao. We did go to Aruba in the past. We have not gone to Bonaire, so that might be the next one to go to. So we stay tuned for that. But obviously, as a photographer, a dad-tographer, I like to bring cameras with me and decided to bring a kind of a dual setup. So my idea was I wanted to have a small camera to capture kind of the everyday life of, you know, being around the island and on vacation, on the resort, etc. But then also have a versatile setup that could get those, you know, curated shots where I wanted to get something specific and be able to, like, you know, zoom in as I needed to and like take a slice of a scene. And so that was my thought. In the past, you know, I would probably take one camera, but with my current setup of cameras and lenses, I figured carrying two would be a good idea. So here's what I got. My daily camera is the Ricoh GR, the original OG 2013 APS-C 16 megapixel version. So this captured all of the kind of walking around shots, you know, just kind of unplanned, like, you know, a street portrait here or walk down a street here, you know, talking to a vendor in a shop, capturing a wide scene of a street, the colors of the buildings. I use this camera to do that work with. It's an 18 millimeter, which equates to a 27, 28 on APS-C. Gives me that wide angle to kind of just do everything pretty well, especially when I'm in tight with family. That's why I feel like 28 is still a great focal length, you know, 28 and 35, because you can get in, you can be right in the scene and still get the shot, right? Still have enough room to really be in the moment, but take a photo. And that's what I feel like this camera, this line of camera, this small compact size really excels. The slim factor of it kind of slips in my bag and really didn't have any obtrusion to getting what I wanted. So what I carried this with majority of the time was the Hex Ranger Mini Sling. So this is a compact, I think they say it's 3 liters, so very small. Packs out pretty small because you can take all the linings out of it. So I'll kind of open up and show you. I'm a little tired, by the way. It's been a long week so far back home in Jersey. But yeah, so this has all of this that can come out. So I can take these dividers out. You can even take the bottom panel out, and this could be a very floppy bag. If you wanted to use it for something other than cameras, you could do that. But this was perfect to carry my camera in it, my phone. I had a battery bank and a cable, you know, my keys, my wallet. I could literally have everything in this bag and just be good with that. And this is what I think I really love about this size bag. And I actually have 2 of these. I have like one in camo as well because I'm a bag whore, whatever. So yeah, I got this in camo also, but I like the style and the size of the bag because it's very, it's a useful shape because of the rectangular shape of it. And it has, you know, these 2 extra zips in the front. So you can put something here like your room key, you know, which is a card nowadays, not a key. And you got this area for batteries and things like that. So that's cool. And just the shape of it, the style of it, it's very, I would say manly. very, you know, if that's a word nowadays we could use, but rustic. You know, it doesn't look like a purse, you know, so I'm wearing it as a sling on my back, or, you know, slinging it to the front, and it doesn't look strange, right? It's, you know, it looks like, okay, cool, he's carrying his stuff, you know, and that's really it. And, you know, the black color kind of allowed me to use it for any, you know, anything I was wearing. So I was actually, you know, since you're on vacation for 7 days, you don't know where you know, what you're going to be wearing. So I didn't want to bring the camo one and not know that I couldn't match with stuff and look a little, you know, out of place with my outfit. So the black was the one to choose. So love the setup. I mean, to me, I even use this back at home, right? This bag, this camera, maybe, you know, and my other cameras too, like my X30, you know, my Nikon P7800. This is the kind of bag that will be able to take that small setup and, you know, have enough space for all your other stuff too, like your phone and other whatnots. So I really love using this on those days where I didn't want to carry, when I didn't know what I was going to shoot. That was kind of what it came down to. So when I didn't know what I was going to shoot, this worked out to just be able to have that next level camera other than your smartphone. So my other camera setup was my bigger bag setup. So this was my intentional shooting setup. When I knew I was going to be out there shooting something specific, or I knew I was going to go somewhere that was going to be scenic and I wanted to capture it. Curacao has, you know, is known for this landscape near the Queen Emma Bridge, which has a lot of colorful homes and buildings and things like that. So I wanted to make sure I capture that. And I did make the mistake. I actually went to this location twice because it wasn't far from my resort. And I actually only had this camera, the Ricoh GR, but I couldn't punch into the scene. So I was able to get the wide shots, which is cool, but I wasn't able to punch into the scene because obviously this is a fixed lens and you can't do it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to come back the next day. My wife dropped me off. We had a rental car. She dropped me off. She went off with, my daughter and my mother-in-law, and I came with the bigger setup. I said, you know what? This is the times where you got to curate. You got to be ready. And so I came with the Peak Design 10-liter sling for this one. This one, bigger bag, definitely still understated because it's black, which I love. Black is my color. But understated, but highly useful. Didn't really know how useful this was going to be. I bought this for a bargain. It was a used bag. Had a little smell of smoke, to be honest with you. I cleaned that out. But very useful bag. I don't have a bag this big. This is my biggest bag, and I got a lot of bags. Most of them are in that 6 liter. The larger ones are 6 liters. I do have an 8-liter Hex Ranger bag, which is similar to the one I just showed you, but that rectangular shape makes it a different proposition for certain kind of lenses because it's more of a flat bag, where this is more of a tall bag, right? So the height makes this a little bit more useful, and I'll tell you why in a second. So the inside of the bag, what was I carrying? So for this, I was carrying my X Pro 2 with a super zoom lens, the Tamron 18-300. I wanted that lens for bright daylight situations and being able to, like I said, slice out a scene, be able to cut it up by being able to zoom in and out and get the shot that I really wanted. And that's where the deepness of this bag came into play, because if I use any other bag, I would be laying the camera down like so, right, on its side, right? When inside the bag, I would lay it down. With this bag, I would lay it straight down, and that gave me more room on the other side of the bag to carry other things that in another bag I wouldn't be able to do. And so, for example, I'd set it down on this left side. I like it closer to my left side. And then inside the bag, I'd have all this extra room on the side. And the bag closes with no problem with that height, with that large lens. And I'm able to get in and out the bag while wearing it with no problem. So I'm sitting here. I want to get the shot. I take the camera out. Snap, snap, snappy, snap. And then back in the bag. And I still have all this other room on the side, right? I still have all of this room on the other side I guess the way I configured it was 2 extra spaces. And so I have all this extra room here to work with. So what did I do with the extra room? Well, I did the same thing I did with the hex bag. I had my phone, power bank, cable, but you also have a front area too, right? So I used some of that for, that too. I could put my phone here, and then I also carried the extra camera. So I put the extra camera in the front. That's how small the Ricoh is that it actually could fit in the front halves. So now I had 2 cameras. So when there were times where I didn't really need the big camera, the big lens to cut up stuff, I still could use the Ricoh to just do my general photography and not really need to get into the big one unless I really needed it. So and it's very comfortable to carry. So that was a good thing to have. In addition, I also carried the Fuji 27mm lens. So good to have this as like my 40mm normal lens. Took up no space in the bag, obviously super small. My hand covers the whole thing up. That's how small it is. I got this cool lens hood from JJC on it. And this was kind of my general purpose. So this is when I wanted to kind of get, I wanted to use the X Pro 2 for more than just the super zoom. It's actually a street camera, right, in reality. So sometimes I would just say, you know what, I'm going to get the 40mm lens and use it. And that's all I really needed. So between those 2 lenses and those 2 cameras, I was covered for literally everything I needed. So really happy about that. This is definitely, what really set it off was definitely the bag. The Peak Design 10-liter really helped me do that. Because I think in the past, I was more reluctant to take a super zoom or any kind of large lens with me because I didn't really want to carry it. And I probably didn't have the right bag to carry it, because if I did carry that super zoom, it would be the only camera and lens I probably would take with me because my bags weren't the right size or shape to do it. But because this 10-liter Sling really kind of set the size comparison for me, this allowed me to use this setup with no real issue. And the bag is very comfortable. That's what I will say. Like carrying it, the straps are long enough for a big guy. It has padding right here, so it never feels like you're cutting into you. You can pack it out because it is a 10-liter Sling, so you can pack a lot of heavy things. Traveling through the airport, I had a tablet in the back. There's a tablet sleeve, so I had a tablet in there. So I really did pack it out through the airport. But once I got to the room, I took a lot of those things out that I wouldn't need to carry, like my tablet and other things. And once you just have a camera, the extra lens, and a few things like your phone and battery banks and stuff, is really not heavy at that point. So now it becomes a very comfortable bag to carry with you. It's not cumbersome. It doesn't really look strange. There's a very minimalistic look to it, and that's going to change the game for future photographic adventures. So I really like it. So that's all I got for today. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace, y'all.